as a person who is more introverted than extroverted, how do I keep showing up? Basically, like,
Yeah.
and for me, that has always been driven by my need to help people. And it feels weird. However, because my mission is bigger than my fear, that is what has kept me going all of these years. Even though I've been running the agency, a lot of entrepreneurs would come to me from time to time and ask me, can you help me with my social media? Can you help me with my marketing? Can you help me with my personal brand, et cetera, et cetera? And I was, I didn't start my journey expecting to be a business coach, but because people were asking me to help them, I kind of was doing business coaching on the side.
So on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being this is really not important at all, and 10 being this is my life's mission. How ambitious are you when it comes to growing Dream Builders Institute into a multi-million-dollar global enterprise?
Powerhouse, yeah, 10 and a half.
What the half? What's the half? Just make it an 11.
Okay, and 11,
10
let's
and a
go.
half. Is it possible to build a high impact business without sacrificing your well being? The Island Woman podcast is the companion to Caribbean founders and leaders who are replacing hustle with authority. Hi, I'm Dianne Squires, aka Dianne, an island woman and founder of Dianne N Squires Consulting. Let's explore how to sharpen your voice, target your visibility, and maximize your economic impact, all through the lens of a big and simple life. Welcome to the Island Woman podcast. Our guest today, Christina Hunte, is a creative change maker from Barbados who is passionate about marketing and seeing dreams come true. And for the last 12 years, she has ran Creative Edge Inc., a boutique marketing agency formed to help companies find their edge and stand out. Now she has switched gears and is a full-time business coach specializing in systems, pricing, and marketing. Today, Christina is the founder of the Dream Builders Institute, which helps entrepreneurs build brands that make money and change the world. She has been a young leader of the Americas, and she has been featured in the top 30 Barbadian entrepreneurs under 30. So, Christina Hunt, welcome to the Island Woman podcast. It's brilliant to have you here. How are you?
Thank you so much, Dan. It is wonderful to be here. I really, really appreciate it. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good today, and it's great to have you in one of my favorite colors, green. So even better. See?
Yes.
All right. So let's get into it. I love the bio, and guys, I read you the short version of the bio. So hopefully during this conversation, we're going to get into so much more about Christina. But Christina, I want to start because we talk about a big and simple life around here. So my first question to you is, you have been in the entrepreneurial space and navigating that in the Caribbean for the last 12 years. And people, she looks like a
Yes.
baby, right? But so 12 years seems ridiculous. But if you had to strip that entire journey down to like one big ambition that you're currently pursuing and one very simple practice or ritual that keeps you, your mind
Uh-huh.
grounded, what would those two
Uh-huh.
things be?
One big ambition. I mean, I've always wanted to help entrepreneurs, honestly speaking. I think that entrepreneurship is the way to freedom. I strongly believe that. And I think that I want to help more people become entrepreneurs and help more entrepreneurs build successful businesses. So that's my mission, honestly. That's the big ambition. And in terms of a ritual that keeps me grounded, I love this question, by the way. And I also love the idea of a big and simple life. Those two things, while they might sound paradoxical, they are very, very important together. So I really love that you brought those two words together. For me, a
Yeah.
simple ritual is like my morning ritual, which is I get up and I put on my exercise clothes and I go walking every single morning. And it starts my day. I might listen to music or I might just be in my thoughts or I might just listen to a podcast, something that inspires me, but it starts my day knowing that I've done something right by getting that exercise in. And then gets back home, it's, shower and breakfast. And that little morning ritual when I've ticked off all those things, I know that I've started my day off right and I feel in a positive space for my work day.
Yeah, I love that. And I mean, you know that I'm an exercise girl. You know that. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that you're keeping up the practice.
Yes.
All right. So, all right. I know Christina from being in marketing agencies and then running a successful marketing agency. And Christina, you did that for 12 years with Creative Edge Inc. And I know it was successful.
Thank
You
you.
know, I saw some of the client roster and these things, right? I know.
Thank you.
So here you go now making this executive decision to switch gears completely. I'm going to say completely.
Hmm.
I mean, you were running a business, but to become a business coach full
Hmm.
time and then build the Dream Builders Institute. My episode last week, I don't know if you watched it or not, but I was talking about giving yourself the chance sometimes to just stop, recalibrate, and open a new chapter. This is definitely a new chapter for you. When did
Yeah.
you know, though, that it was time to make that transition?
Well, I've been a business coach for a while now because even though I've been running the agency, a lot of entrepreneurs would come to me from time to time and ask me, can you help me with my social media? Can you help me with my marketing? Can you help me with my personal brand, et cetera, et cetera? And I was, I didn't start my journey expecting to be a business coach, but because people were asking me to help them, I kind of was doing business coaching on the side. So when I got to 12, well, around the 10-year mark, I started to feel a certain level of dissatisfaction with the agency because, like it's hard to be a creative in the Caribbean. It's hard to be a creative in the corporate world where you want to do all these big outlandish ideas that you know they're going to go viral and you know that they're going to get results.
Yeah.
But, the corporate landscape tends to want to just stay safe. So I struggled in that regard. When I said creative with a K, I really meant creative with a K. I wanted to do really, really big things, but, I felt very restricted. And
Mm,
I just decided, like I'm at a point where I get more joy from working with entrepreneurs, seeing somebody's face light up when they understand a concept for the first time, or when they had a breakthrough with something that they've been personally struggling with in their own business. There's nothing that can compare to that, and it feels truly meaningful. And around the 10-year mark, I decided, you know what, let me switch gears. It's time to really step into my mission of helping entrepreneurs, and here we are.
So if I were to ask then why business coaching and why dream builders, am I right to say that the answer is it brings you more joy, or is there something else, something bigger than that?
It brings me joy, but I think it apart from the joy, it's also the fulfillment. The fulfillment that is knowing that my work matters. It's knowing that I'm doing something that is gonna help others and have a ripple effect. It's knowing that my work is meaningful. Honestly speaking, I think that as human beings, we're all just trying to find meaning at the end of the day in our lives, and doing this work, being a business coach, truly helping people feels very meaningful to me.
What I didn't mention in your biography is that you studied not only marketing, but psychology. And I feel like the last time that we had a long conversation, which was on another podcast, by the way, psychology seems to have influenced your career path, both at the agency and I would say now as well, right?
Mhm. It's so funny that you asked that. I've kind of kept the psychology part sort of hidden. Most people will probably be confused as to why, but when I was younger, like when I was little and growing up, psychology was always portrayed as this really bad thing in media. First and foremost, if you're a psychologist, people refer to you as a shrink,
Yeah,
because you're shrinking people's heads.
right.
So it's never positioned as something positive. And people think that, oh, if you go to a psychologist, they're going to read your mind or whatever. So I kind of kept it hidden. I mean, I love psychology real bad, but I
Yeah.
kept it hidden. But my quest to understand people comes from my desire to help people. So I actually considered becoming a psychologist at some point. But, I just decided, I have too many things that I love. So let me just combine the management and the psychology into one degree. And that way I get to use my understanding of people in the business world. And it helps with not just the corporate work, but also my entrepreneur one-on-one work as well. So yes, you're right. There is a running theme.
There is a running theme, which tends to happen with people even if they don't notice it, right? And I'm sure you might notice
Exactly.
that. You might notice the same kind of thing with your clients. And
Yes.
so, well, that kind of brings me to another fact about you because you self-identify as an introvert, to use some of the jargon that the Americans use. Self-identify
Yeah.
as an introvert, but you've remained quite visible on a lot of fronts, Christina. I mean, as a representative for young leaders of the Americas, I know that when you were running Creative Edge, even then you were maintaining like a network of entrepreneurs. You were writing, you were speaking, you were teaching. And so you were definitely visible on all of those fronts. But a lot of entrepreneurs, especially the ones who are introverts, tend to think, being visible is just kind of superficial. And then for them, it might
Mm.
be exhausting, overwhelming,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they're like, why do I have to do it? But why was it important to you? And how did you kind of reframe that in your mind to make it authentic for who you are as an introvert as well?
This is a really powerful question. And I'd say thank you for reflecting that back to me because I don't really think about how visible I've been, I'm on a day to day, I'm just doing what I feel called to do. So when you wrap it like that in a neat bow, I'm like, oh, wait, I did all those things. But even though for the most part of my life I would have identified as like an introverted person or introverted leaning, I am at a stage in my life where I feel like I've outgrown the label. Not that my personality has changed. I just don't really like clamor to the label anymore, right?
Yeah.
However, I can still answer the question of, as a person who is more introverted than extroverted, how do I keep showing up? Basically, like,
Yeah.
and for me, that has always been driven by my need to help people. So I tell my clients all the time, and people who ask me, they're like, how do you do these videos? Like I feel so afraid to do videos. And I tell them all the time, the videos aren't about me. Yes, it feels kind of cringy to put a phone in front of you and talk to the phone. I mean, nobody's there, but you're talking to a piece of equipment and it feels weird. However, because my mission is bigger than my fear, that is what has kept me going all of these years. So it's been my desire to share share stories about my lessons in business, share marketing tips for people as well. And I just always wanted to help in some way and getting the feedback as well. It's also the feedback of how my work has impacted people that keeps me showing up because I know it's meaningful work that I'm doing.
Yeah, I love that because I love your mission is bigger than your fear. And I agree. I remember a couple years ago, I was fortunate enough to do a workshop with a group of people from a multilateral bank. And that question came up, how we were talking about personal brand at the time. How
Hmm.
would I start to build my personal brand if I'm an introvert? And my answer at the time was I'm an introvert too. And the thing is, usually if there is some cause that you care about or some mandate
Mm.
or agenda that you feel that you have, sometimes that's just the being visible is really just a vehicle to be able to share that or to elevate the cause, to raise
Hmm.
awareness, as people would say, and just like you said, to help people if that's your
Exactly.
mission. So I appreciate that perspective so much because I think that's true for me too.
Hmm.
But then okay, you're visible. People know
Hmm.
that you run Creative Edge, a marketing
Hmm.
agency, and then you're visible and you make the switch to Dream Builders Institute. How do you get your audience who are watching along as you build in this thing from 0 to 12 years? How do you get them to come along with you now when you've kind of done a 180, 90-degree turn, whatever it is? How do you get them to come along with you? How do you get them to remain visible and get your
Mhm.
audience to pivot and believe and be confident to make the
Mhm.
shift for you?
Mhm. It's a great question. I would say for just be honest. So I have taken them on more than 180 over the journey. To be honest, I've evolved as a person. The more you learn, the more you will grow, and the more you will change. That's just the reality of life. And it's kind of small minded for people to expect you to stay the same your entire life. It's not realistic, right? So I'd say really and truly the answer is being honest. So I had a certain set of brand colors when I started Creative Edge, and then those changed. And then in 2021, I realized, okay, well, I am running this agency, it's doing a lot of corporate work, but when I show up online, I'm speaking to entrepreneurs. There's a mismatch here. So in 2021, I actually split my brand into two, and I split Creative Edge from Christina Hunt. So Creative Edge became incorporated as Creative Edge Inc. And, we leveled up on that side. And then I created the personal brand of Christina Hunt, the one that is focused on helping the entrepreneurs. So they saw that journey. I was very transparent about it. I shared a lot of behind the scenes. I shared what it was like to hire my first employee, and that
Yes.
one was a hit because a lot of people wanted to know what that part was like. And it was inspiring for a lot of people. So I was just really sharing what it was like. And there are people who, up until this year, someone told me she chose to work with me because I shared my level ups basically, and she wants to get there too. So being honest, being open, and just explaining why this is happening has kept people believing in me, I would say.
Yeah, I like that. And I did follow the journey because I remember that specific video with you hiring the employee. I remember a video with you saying you didn't want to admit it for a long time, but you're okay now with calling yourself a business coach. I remember that video. So a lot of us have been following. And so now I think that is a great place to really start to talk about the work that you're doing now with Dream Builders Institute and
Hmm.
what that entails. You say that you help entrepreneurs build brands that make money and change the world, to
Yes.
quote your bio. But tell us how Dream Builders Institute does that.
Yeah, so the Dream Builders Institute, and funny thing, you were actually like one of the first people to hear that name because I recently got the registration back from what is now Business Barbados. So I think this is like the world debut.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
An
So
exclusive.
yes, and exclusive. So yeah, so how this came about, to be honest, was I learned a very hard lesson, which is that if you try to offer your clients a buffet of services, they're gonna be stuck with, they're not gonna be able to figure out which one that they want, right? Because you're giving them too much at one time. And I learned that lesson in my coaching. Whereas I have so many different things that I can teach, and I was allowing people to select which consultation or which topic they wanted to do on my website, and it was giving people too much choice dilemma. So
Yeah.
I realized rather than like create this long list of things that you could choose to work with me doing, I packaged them all because people would tell me, I want to do all these things. I don't know where to start. And so I had to learn that lesson of not giving people too much choice dilemma. And I packaged all of those things into one program, and originally it was called the Legacy Builders Accelerator, but no, it's the Dream Builders Accelerator. And then I started to realize, oh, well, Dream Builders is a brand. Like, this is bigger than just an 8-week accelerator program. This is the Dream Builders podcast. This is my Dream Builders hub. This is so many different things that I plan to do with it. And I needed a name to encapsulate everything that I plan to do on the Dream Builders. So to answer your question, how do we help people? It's teaching. It's really teaching and empowering entrepreneurs to get your mind right, get your systems right, get your money right, get your marketing right, so that you can build the business of your dreams and make money, live a decent life, and make an impact on other people at the end of the day.
In other words, you kept it big and simple. I love it because you packaged everything together like you were saying, and you really then you're
Yes.
able to focus. Congratulations on
Mhm.
getting the registration.
Thank you. It was a journey.
And congratulations on the world premiere via the Island Woman podcast.
Yes.
It sounds fantastic. So it is an 8-week accelerator program, did you say? 8 weeks?
So it was at the time when I came up with the name and the structure and all that. But no, I have extended it because this is another thing about living and learning, right? So you have to always be improving as a service provider, as a coach, whatever you're doing, always try to improve. So that is how I live my life. And I realized that people needed more help. So originally it was 8 weeks of learning, and we did a different topic every week, and then an additional 2 weeks of support for implementation, like if you just needed to ask questions and so on. But I realized that people needed more help. So now it is a 4-month program. It starts with a
Mhm.
10-week accelerator. And then you have an additional month and a half of support so that as you are going out into the world implementing what you've learned, you can still have access to me to ask questions, to troubleshoot things, problem solve, and really get your business to the level that you want it to be. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think what I like about is at least you have the credibility because you've been there and you've done
Yes.
that over
Yes.
12 years with Creative Edge. And I think people
Yes.
can still go back and check the track record and see the kind of work that you've done. And also go back to, you being visible, teaching,
Hmm.
speaking on social
Correct.
media and so
Correct.
on, and track because you were
Yes.
transparent about it, right? So
Yes.
I think that is great. A 4-month program, get your mind right, money
Yes.
right, your systems right.
Right. Yeah. Your marketing right. Yeah. Just let's get
Yeah.
everything right.
Get everything right. I mean, it is definitely a challenge in the Caribbean, and I would reference again my episode that I did last week talking about opening that new chapter, just stopping and recalibrating. And I think entrepreneurs do have those moments. It's
Yeah.
not just entrepreneurs, it's just people, it's life. Sometimes you get stopped in your tracks and it's like, no, something else has to happen. We got to
Hmm.
be able to do better than this. So I think an accelerator program is good to get people over and through those humps because they're
Absolutely.
inevitable.
Yeah, and in addition to that, I think a lot of people come to me when they realize that they're in a season of change. So it's hard to let go of what was. As human beings, we are kind of slow to embrace change because we want to stay in our comfort zone. But the reality is we all change. And our business may have looked one way 10 years ago, and now you are a different person. I mean, all your cells have changed out from blood
Mm.
cells to hair cells. Everything has changed. You are literally a different person 10 years later. And when you realize that you feel differently about your business or you feel differently about how you want to show up in the world, sometimes it can be difficult to shed the old identity to embrace the new one. And a lot of the times that's where people come to me. But I want people to know, anybody listening, that it's okay to embrace change and to embrace the new you.
All right. So along with this embracing a new you, we talked about the big ambitions and a simple ritual that you had before. The big
Hmm.
and simple life, as I've explained to you and
Hmm.
to others, is about that convergence of your huge, big ambition and that need for simplicity, what I call well-being, that overall social, emotional, psychological, physical sense of feeling good. And
Hmm.
so I want to look at those two things for you and actually put them on a scale to see where you are today with your
Okay.
ambition and with your well being. So, on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being this is really not important at all, and 10 being this is my life's mission. How ambitious are you when it comes to growing Dream Builders Institute into a multi-million-dollar global enterprise?
Powerhouse. Yeah. 10 and a half.
What the half? What's the half? Just make it an 11.
I'll take that in 11. Let's go. Yeah, I wake up and every morning that is my mission, honestly speaking. I am 100% committed.
Okay, perfect.
Hmm.
So 10 and a half on the ambition scale. Okay, let's go over to
Yeah.
well-being now.
Mhm.
On a scale of 0 to 10 again, 0 being I am completely out of it, totally not good, not well, and 10
Mhm.
being I feel perfectly harmonized. How do you feel
Mm.
about your sense of well-being when you think about being able to do the things that you enjoy outside of work,
Mhm.
feeling good in your
Mhm.
body, feeling
Mhm.
good mentally, all those things that make up
Yes.
well-being? Where are you on that scale today?
Yeah, immediately my mind went to an 8 because I feel pretty good. And I would also like to add, I'm very intentional about removing all sources of drama from my life. Very, 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 very intentional. So whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's clients, any source of drama, any source of disturbance, like it has to go. Once you're robbing my peace of mind, it has to go. And that's why I can maintain that level like a eight. The other two will probably just be because I am making some moves that feel scary for me. I'm making some moves that require a new identity. And it's like, oh my God, I gotta do that thing, or I gotta
Yeah.
have to speak to that person. Like, like so, the things make your heart throb a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But on an everyday basis, I am peaceful, I am happy, I'm grateful for life, and I try to just maintain a peaceful, balanced life, honestly.
I love it. So you're a 10.5 and 8. And
Yeah.
I welcome anyone to adopt the ambition well-being scale for a big and simple life. Because I think it's just a
Mhm.
good way to check in with yourself,
Yeah.
especially when times get rough or, like you do your morning walk and other rituals just to really check in with yourself and see where you are. Because I think
Yes.
in the Caribbean, we kind of have the benefit of both worlds where you
Mhm.
can potentially have a thriving career, but you also have this sense of people come here to recharge, to relax, all of that thing. And
Mhm.
why don't we also take advantage of that, right?
So true. So true.
So Dream Builders Institute is a real thing now on paper, registered and
Yes.
owned.
Yes, it is. Yes.
And you continue the work with entrepreneurs, building their dreams, helping them make money.
Mhm.
So how can any entrepreneurs or other people who would like to be able to talk to you reach out to Christina Hunt and get in contact with Dream Builders Institute?
Yeah. So the place where people contact me often is my Instagram page. It's the place where I'm most active. And you can find me at I am Christina Hunt. That's my Instagram handle. And that's where I share all of my business tips. That's where I engage with people. And I actually have some really, really exciting stuff to share on my page. So definitely connect with me there. Send me a private message or could link in my bio and head over to my website. You can see some of my work. You can see some of my testimonials, places where I've been featured, or, if you just want to learn more. And there's also information about my Dream Builders work on my website as well. So we can either contact me on Instagram or through my website.
And if they feel a little bit timid about, is this thing for me, is Dream Builders for me? Are there any criteria like what do you have to be willing to do? Did you have to reach a certain revenue cap? Who is a fit for Dream Builders? Just so that before we go away, people kind of sense, all right,
Hmm.
I can get in contact with Christina at Dream Builders.
Yeah. So at this point in my career, I am serving mostly full-time service-based business women. So women who are absolutely committed to their business, they're serious about business. It's not just a hobby. I've done a lot of work with people who, have a business as like a side hobby. And 2 years later, when I check in, sometimes the business is gone, So I want to work with people where we can see the longevity of your efforts. We can see the long-term impact of your work. So that's why I've committed to full-time and also service based because they're often left out. All the tips and tricks are mostly for people who can take a quick picture and post. But when you have a service, can you take a picture of a service all the time? It's
It's
not that
hard.
easy. So service based is sure and definitely full time. And I mostly work with people who are at a level of like at least 3,000 US a month in their revenue so that at least you'll be able to afford the programs, afford to implement the strategies that we use and in terms of implementing a mental commitment It has to be that you are passionate about this thing. You can see the end in mind and you're willing to put in the work. A lot of people want somebody to wave a magic wand and make your business magically perfect. Unfortunately, it just doesn't work like that. So I definitely focus on people who are committed to putting in the work, to seeing the results so that you'll be happy and I'll be happy at the end of the day.
Okay, perfect. All right. So people, that sounds great. Christina, thank you so much for being here. You can contact her again on Instagram. I am Christina Hunt. And you're also at ChristinaHunt.com.
Yes, ChristinaHunt.com. Yeah.
ChristinaHunt.com. So we'll put those in the show notes and in the YouTube description so that you can reach out if you need to. And again, congrats on Dream Builders Institute, well, the
Thank you.
official.
Yes. Thank you
So
so
I guess we're going to
much.
look out for the launch, but more so looking out for even more entrepreneurs that you help to serve and
Yes,
you help to build their dreams and make more money.
absolutely. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much for
Christina, thanks
having
so much
me.
for
It's been
being
fun.
here. And to
Yes.
you, our audience, if you have watched this all the way to the end, we appreciate your time so, so much. Thank you for tuning in to the Island Woman podcast. If you have watched this on YouTube and you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, leave a comment. If you've watched this or listen on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on Amazon Music, any of the platforms where you find the Island Woman podcast, leave us a review. Let us know what you think about the podcast. Also, tell us what else you would like to see and who else you would like to see when we're talking about business in the Caribbean, Caribbean women entrepreneurs, and living a big and simple life. Thanks so much. Until next time, see you guys and peace. Bye bye.